it was misty and foggy. But I think our driver, out of shock and everything else, he hit that trailer from behind.
Ooh.
The vehicle rolled 4 times, according to the report from the police. Angela went and came back and fell on my knees. Her head was here. I called her name. Angela, are you alive? Have you made it? Angela, I realized that the head had been crushed. So I knew she's gone. But when they saw me moving in the car, in the wreckage, they said, huyo anatingika. This guy is not dead. Huyo anashika watu tumsaidie.
Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning?
Here's what you missed.
A story a day.
Brings us right into that, a good segue into this. And as we were saying earlier on, 15 years ago, Angela Chibalonza had been in a concert in Nakuru. And they had just left. She had to be at the airport the very next morning. She was adamant about being there. And, they got on the road, and halfway through, there was a horrific accident. And 4 people, out of the 4 people who were in the car, 3 died. 1 survived and lived to talk about it, although the doctors had told him he would never be able to walk again because his spine had been injured. But he is walking today, and not only walking, but he's become a pastor. He's written a book called The Miracle Accident, and he joins us live in the studio. John Isaji, good to see you. Karibu sana. Welcome to Hot 96.
Thank you, Jeff.
It must have been a tough time, man. I think, take us to that day. Take us to the ill-fated day.
Yeah, I want to say thank you so much for hosting me here and welcoming me here.
Yes.
That fateful day was a day just like any other. Things were okay, were all right, but things changed immediately some hours to the event. I had traveled to Egerton University. It was an overnight event. So I had taken the band there because I was in charge of transport. I was her music director, so in charge of also sound setup and everything else. So I got a call that the car that was supposed to take her to Egerton is not available. So I had to come with my car that I had in Egerton to come pick her from Nairobi. That was around 5 p.m. So I arrived in Nairobi late because there was a traffic jam. So I arrived at around 7 p.m. By that time, she said it was too late because she was to catch a flight early morning to Dar es Salaam. So she said she has changed her mind, she's not going for the event. So when news reached the institution that she is not coming, there were riots and commotion in the hall because she was not coming. So people thought that it was a hoax. It's not true that Angela is coming. So I went to pick her at her house, but a few minutes before picking her, the key to the anti-burglary door got lost. So they looked for the key for almost an hour, up to around 10 p.m.
Wow, and you're supposed to be in Eldoret.
We're supposed to be in Egerton.
Wow. So she's locked inside her house now.
Yes.
She can't get out.
She can't get out. And on the other hand, students are rioting, and the CU guys who had organized the event had been arrested. So they were calling, please come so that we can be released. But if you don't come, we will be expelled from the school. So that is what pushed her to ensure that we travel, even if it is 5 minutes, then we come back. So since the keys could not be found, they had to use a hacksaw to cut the padlock.
What?
So they cut the padlock, and then she came out around 10:30 p.m. So I started driving back to Egerton. So we arrived at Egerton University at around midnight. So she said she'll perform for 2 minutes. But immediately we arrived, those who had been arrested were released. They really saw it is Angela. They saw it is Angela, and they confirmed indeed she was to come, but because of time, she couldn't manage to be here right on time at around, because the event was starting at 8 p.m.
Right.
So she performed for almost an hour. By that time, I went back to the car at least to sleep. But in Joro, it's very cold. You can't sleep at that time. So I came out of the car, came back to the hall, and I realized I was getting late. I went to pick her from stage. By that time, she called some students and prayed for some students because she had a heart for the young generation, for the upcoming artists. She had gone there to promote some upcoming artists. I remember there was artists like Cedric, who had performed in Project Fame. They're the ones who organized that. So we left Egerton at around some minutes to 3 a.m. in the morning. So while coming back, she said, John, you've really worked so hard today. You are so tired. And you'll be doing some work tomorrow because of her production of her new album. So she said, please don't go with me driving. I want you to sit at the back and sleep and have some rest. I told her I am conversant with this road and I can drive back to Nairobi. She said, no, I want you to rest so that you exchange with the other driver. I told her I don't trust the other driver, so let us keep going. So we arrived in Nakuru town. I fueled. She kept on saying, no, I'm not comfortable you driving. You have to exchange. Then I told her, let me reach Gilgil. If I will not be okay, I'll be able to hand over. Immediately we arrived at Gilgil, she said, no, hand over the car. So that's the time I exchanged and went to sit at the back left.
What time is this now?
This was around some minutes to 5 a.m. So when I went to sit at the back left, I told the guys behind. There was one journalist, his name is Nimrod Makori, the late. I was used to work with Biblia Osema. He was the MC for the event. So I told him, I'm not sure how this guy drives. He has never driven me. I'm not comfortable. So allow me to belt, the first thing. The second thing, if you see he's not okay on the road, please wake me up, I continue. Because Angela has insisted I exchange. So I belted at the back left. And then the journey began. At around an hour drive, we were at Kinale after Sokomjinga, somewhere here in Limuru. I heard screams and shouts in the car. So when I heard screams and shouts in the car, I woke up. In few seconds, because I saw an oncoming vehicle and there were traffic officers slowing us down. It was misty and foggy. It's towards 5:30 in the morning. So they were slowing our driver. But I think our driver, out of shock and everything else, because he saw a trailer on the road, he hit that trailer from behind.
Ooh.
The driver hit that trailer from behind. And then after hitting that trailer from behind, the vehicle rolled 4 times, according to the report from the police, and felt like it was going to Nakuru. So everyone else, with that speed, the speed was around 130. And it was a Nissan B15. So they went with that speed and hit the trailer and came back in the wreckage.
Wow.
And immediately everyone went silent in the car. So when everyone went silent in the car, they checked, because even me at that time, I lost conscious and I lost myself. So Angela went and came back and fell on my knees. If you can see where she was seated at the back, at the front left. I was seated at the back left. So she went and hit and came over my body. So we stayed in the wreckage for around, I think, an hour.
Was anyone saying anything?
None. Everyone was silent, and that's why people, many of us who heard that story, it said that there was no survivor. People knew there was no survivor because all of us, everyone was silent. So 3 were already dead. I was the one who was alive, but I was engulfed in her body. So no one could know whether I'm alive or not. But after staying there for around an hour, there was some light. I regained my consciousness. So when I regained my consciousness, I started moving.
Were people trying to rescue you at this time?
Yes, that is the time people started. But by that time, when we had the accident, there was a tape, a crime scene tape, locked there waiting for the police to come and carry bodies to the morgue. Because the traffic police have to come and take pictures, do everything and secure the place. So the place was secured. But when they saw me moving in the car, in the wreckage, they said, huyo anatingika. This guy is not dead. Huyo anashika watu tumsaidie. That is when they came and started hitting the car and breaking it. And then they broke the door and then they pulled me out. So that's the time they discovered this is a survivor. They put me on a pickup because by that time I was complaining of my back, my neck, and my body was swollen. And it was in a pool of blood. So I didn't know where I was injured by that time. So I was put on a pickup and taken to Kijabe Mission Hospital as the only survivor. The blood was still coming out, but it was Angela's blood. So by that time, I was rushed to ICU, and again I lost conscious. I woke up, I think, after 2 days.
But at the scene there, did they try to check for, vital signs on the remaining 3? Or they just looked and assumed everyone has passed on?
I think they assumed. Everyone has passed on, because immediately after the accident, there was no checkup until I woke up. That is the time I heard people shouting around, because the vehicle was surrounded by so many people waiting for the bodies to be taken away. That's the time they started saying, "Huyo ajekufa, huyo akwai tumsaidie."
You know how Kenyans are with accidents, huh?
Yeah, they just come and look and take pictures. Those days, at least there was no Insta stories.
Right.
Yes.
My goodness.
So that's the time I was.
So 2 days later, you woke up?
Yes.
After surgery?
No, before surgery.
Before surgery. And what did they tell you?
So when I woke up, I saw the police trying to ask me what really happened, because no one knew what happened. So, and there were guys from media asking me at least to tell them what really happened. So I could gather a few things, but my memory had lapsed. So I couldn't remember everything clearly. So, but after that, the doctors told me, you have no any injury, you have no any fractures, but you have fractured 4 cords of your spinal cord. You have fractured C3, C4, C5, and C6. That's why you can't feel your body, you can't feel anything, you can't move, even speaking, because it had interfered with my speech and with my movement. I was just lying flat, even with my memory. So it had been interfered. So everything had been interfered with, even functions like breathing. So I could not breathe on my own. So every body function had been interfered with. So I was told that I will be in for surgery, and the surgery, they will do what we call grafting. They'll pick a bone from my waist and go and do grafting, at least for the fractured cord, to see whether it can be able to grow again. And that is the time they scheduled me for surgery, I think on a Monday or on a Tuesday. So,
at Kijabe?
At Kijabe.
And they're going to do everything at Kijabe?
At Kijabe,
wow.
Yes.
That's the same hospital that saved Raphael Tuju's life, huh?
Yes, it's a very nice hospital. It's a mission hospital.
Yes, it's a mission hospital. Yeah, and while there, the doctors there also, they pray for you, they give you hope, and they tell you this is no major injury. That's the time you see, oh really, kumbe sijaumia. So that's the time you feel I can recover. So they gave me a lot of hope. And before they do the surgery, they pray for you. And they tell you, we are doing our work, but God has rescued you for a purpose and for a reason. So just have hope, you will come out of this. I was afraid to go for surgery. I even wanted to die, because I realized I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my hand. I'm asking people, niko na mkono, are you seeing my leg? So, because you can't move. They tell you have everything. So, doctors really helped me to have hope that I'll come out of that. The surgery took around 12 hours.
Wow. 12 whole hours?
12 whole hours. So after surgery, I was taken back to ICU to see whether I'll recover and whether I'll come back. There was a surgery that was done on my neck, because my neck was swollen, and at the back here, to rectify the cords that were fractured, and there's a bone that was picked from my waist to go and do now the grafting in the spinal cord, so that now the neuro communication can proceed as normal. Yes, Jeff.
How long did that take?
To recover, or the doctors told me, according to your injury, we are not sure whether everything will be back, but we've done our part. But we think after 10 years or 15 years, at a time you can start walking, maybe, but we are not sure. So
10 years?
Yes.
Or 15?
Or 15.
How long did it take you to start walking?
6 months. I was referred to spinal injury somewhere along Rose Avenue.
Yes, it's right down the road.
So when I came to spinal injury, I realized guys are injured there. I told them, no, take me to my house, because I have my legs, I can see I have my hands. Even though some things are not functioning well, take me to the house. This one is more traumatizing. So I was taken back to the house. So I had a doctor who used to come, do physiotherapy in the house and take care of me. That is how recovery began. And I began having hope I can come out of this, because in the wreckage 3 people died to my face. And I came out. I knew I will not come out and be on a wheelchair.
By the way, when you heard that Angela Chibalonza had passed, what went through your mind? When were you told?
In fact, I confirmed while still in the wreckage she had passed, because her body was on my knees. Her head was here. I called her name. Angela, are you alive? Have you made it? Angela. I realized that the head had been crushed. So I knew she's gone. And by that time also I'm trying to handle my pain. So what happened, immediately I was in the hospital, I tried asking to confirm, but they told me, don't worry, she's in another hospital, don't worry. I know, I saw her body, she's gone. So what kept me alive is that she was crushed so much, and for me, I still had my body parts. I still had my hands, I still had my face. Then I knew there's a reason between the two of us, where there's a reason why I am alive. So this is what kept me going and gave me hope that there's a reason. So it was very traumatizing. Even I didn't want to listen to her songs. I didn't want to hear any story about her. I didn't want to hear anything, because the memory of her image used to come to my mind.
Yeah.
So I shut everyone talking about her.
John, obviously, since then, you've gone on to become a preacher, a pastor.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that. Where do you preach? What's the name of your church and all that?
Yeah, by the grace of God, I lead a church in Juja town. It's called Hope and Restoration Ministry. Yeah, before I became a pastor, in fact, after the accident, many people told me you should be a preacher. But I had not recovered fully from the events of that day, even from losing your close friends in a certain manner like this. So I didn't want to do anything with preaching, with church. So I took a lot of time to accept that it had happened. Now my message is more specifically on giving hope to anyone else in life who wants to give up, because I went through this not only for my own sake, because I know currently there are people who are facing other challenges. There are people who are facing, even they are in their hospitals, because when I was in the hospital I used to listen, I used to watch stories, I used to listen to stories like this. I know there are people who could be listening to us, they are in the hospital bed, but what makes the difference is the hope that you have, you will come out alive. That's why I target it is a miracle accident.
That's the name of your book, right?
And that's the name of my book.
Where is it available?
This book is available right now. I'm the one distributing it. It's available in town, Luthuli House, 3rd floor. I have a contact person there. So we are waiting to launch it. Then when we launch, then we can distribute in the bookshops and put it even on Amazon.
How much are you selling them at?
I'm selling them at 1,000.
1,000.
Okay.
each, yeah.
1,000.
I'm seeing there's also an email address here, so that in case someone can't remember the handles,
Yes.
this is your email address.
This is my email address. Yes.
Which is?
Midunga5@gmail.com.
Midunga5.
Midunga5@gmail.com, and my Facebook page, John Isaji. And also if they can call me or they can text me, they can WhatsApp me. I'm still interacting with them, with everyone, before I place them maybe in the shelves.
When is it being launched?
It's being launched on 29th of May
29th of
at
May.
Redeemed Gospel Church, Buruburu.
Buruburu.
Yes.
Does Hope and Restoration Church have a social media page?
Yes, they have. We have our social media page, Hope and Restoration, and I have
on
my
what,
page.
Facebook, or is it
On Facebook, it's just John Isaji, where people can make requests. Even in Instagram, John Isaji, and even in YouTube, I have a YouTube channel, Isaji Television Network, where I share messages of hope, and I share more about the book.
That day for Angela Chibalonza, she missed her flight, the keys lost, she's late, she didn't feel like going, it's really late at night, all the signs were leading. I don't know if you've gone to that point in faith where when you see signs, you just know, today I shouldn't do this, no matter what the pressure.
Yeah, what I'll say, sometimes it's good to honor your feeling, your instincts, and how you see events going on. When you see events are not right and correct according to the way you had planned, you better just obey, because God speaks through some of these circumstances. Because in this one, God was speaking. So sometimes when you force things, later on you learn God was telling you not to do them.
Yeah.
But by that time, it's too late.
By that time, it's too late.
What do you miss most about Angela Chibalonza?
I miss her worship, I miss her performance, and I miss her inspiration. Because I've realized and noted, I will say this, in the generation that we are in, it's not easy to raise a serious worshiper who is after the heart of God.
When you think about her now, can you still listen to her songs?
Very much.
You enjoy listening to her songs?
I enjoy listening to her songs.
Okay, how about some Ebenezer?
Yes.
That's Jeff's favorite.
It is one of my favorite songs, actually. I call it Ebenezer.
Ebenezer.